The Chicago Cubs nab win number 84 on a Friday afternoon, steaming hot at Wrigley on the back of one Ian Happ. So we want to ask the question, should we cut Ian Happ some slack? We look at the numbers and we dive into what Ian Happ has been this season from the eye test and from the numbers test. Also, we look at the fact that the Chicago Cubs magic number is now 7. Also, we get bad news about Kyle Tucker, and we're going to talk about the young upstart Mo baller. That's right, Moises Ballesteros. We got to talk about it all and then some right after these messages. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good day to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones, here to talk to you about nothing more than our favorite baseball team, the Chicago Cubs, holding down the top wild card spot and, of course, picking up their third W in a row. That's right. Back to back to back. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. The Cubs pick up their third win in a row, this time taking care of the Tampa Bay Rays. This game started out looking like it was going to be a crap show for the Chicago Cubs as an old friend of ours, Christopher Morel, came into this game with 2 men on base. The first 2 men on base, one got a hit, one walked, and then he cranked a 3-run shot into the bleachers. And I was like, oh, man, here we go. Matthew Boyd is struggling. And the Chicago Cubs, we already know, I don't know how their offense is going to look in this game. And boy, oh, boy, this is about to be a bad one. We're going to lose another first game of a series. And my God, we can't handle this. And my mind began to revert back to things that we've seen over the last couple of weeks from the Chicago Cubs. And in all honesty, I was ready to just go ahead and give up on this one again, but the Chicago Cubs were like, no, keep watching because we're coming back, baby. And of course, that's what they decided to do. The Chicago Cubs did do that on the backs of Dansby Swanson, Michael Busch, Ian Happ, Moises Ballesteros, Matt Shaw, and of course, Ian Happ, all contributing to the Chicago Cubs winning this game. It was a very, very decent, mediocre start for Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd pitched 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, 83 pitches, 53 of those being strikes. Not his best start and not his most dominant start. But again, I mean, he got us through 5. And then after that, we turned it over to, surprisingly, none other than Porter Hodge, which, can I take a second to ask you guys, what the hell? When did Porter Hodge return? And I know when he actually returned to the roster, but when did he return to this? Like, you know, Porter Hodge looked very, very good out there. Very, very good. And I'm like, okay, all right. He might have figured out what was going on with him, or he just might be healthy. He just might be healthy. Listen, there are guys when they are injured that just don't pitch well. And I believe whatever they tweaked with Porter Hodge while he was doing bullpen sessions or whatever he was working in AAA, Porter Hodge has looked much better this time around. And again, he did do a 1-2-3 inning, also getting a strikeout in there and dropping that ERA again. It's down to 5.83 now on 17 pitches, 10 of those being strikes. Listen, Drew Pomeranz came in the game after that. I know everybody did a collective eye roll as Drew Pomeranz trotted into the game during the 7th inning. But he also did not allow a hit, did not allow an earned run, did not allow a walk, got 1 strikeout on 11 pitches, 7 of those being strikes. And then, of course, Brad Keller came in. It was just Brad Keller. Came into the game, pitched 1 inning, 2 strikeouts on 13 pitches, 8 of those being strikes, a 2.10 ERA. And then last but not least, Andrew Kittredge came into the game and closed this one out for the Chicago Cubs. And he struck out 1 on 7 pitches, 6 of those being strikes. He has a 3.38 ERA. Matthew Boyd, like I said, was one of our keys in this game. I felt that we needed a strong outing out of Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd, however, kind came in and did a mediocre job today. Like I said, I really think, again, this is the most innings he's pitched ever in his career. So we're in uncharted territories with Matthew Boyd when it comes to him. We don't know exactly what he has. His arm could be getting tired. So I am still of the mindset that you ought to look to give him a rest. You ought to look to maybe give him a week or two rest, especially if you plan to use him once you have the wild card spot locked up, a for sure playoff spot, whether it's a wild card spot or whether you win the division. I'm still of the belief that it is in your best interest to rest him and give him a break. Like I said, I mean, once you know you have a playoff card spot locked up, it will not hurt to allow Ben Brown to take one of his starts. I mean, I know not everybody's going to want to hear that. Not everybody's not going to want to watch that. But I do think with who you have coming up, who you're playing, Ben Brown can suffice to give you a start. Javier Assad has been moved to the bullpen officially. He'll be bullpen help from here on out. But I don't think it's a bad idea to allow Ben Brown to take a start from Matthew Boyd and give Matthew Boyd a rest or two. But, hey, that's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Chicago Cubs are to give Matthew Boyd a break? He, like I said, he has done enough for the Chicago Cubs. He is having a Cy Young worthy type of season, but these last couple of starts, he's looked tired. He's kind of looked fatigued. His strikeout level has not been what it needed to be, and I think missing the turn or two would not hurt him. I think it's something Craig Counsell should really look into. I should talk to Matthew Boyd about it. Like, listen, like, we're looking big picture here. With him healthy, with Cade Horton healthy, with Shota Imanaga figuring some things out, that's a tough 3 games right there that to have to face. That's a tough 3. So, I mean, like I said, you look at that and you say to yourself, Chicago Cubs got a good starting rotation and their bullpen have figured some things out. So we look here and we say to ourselves, what can the Chicago Cubs be? Well, I mean, it really depends on what their pitching is going to be. So to me, in my mindset, that just screams rest him. But we'll see. We'll see. On the other side of this break, we will talk about the impact of Ian Happ. I have been talking ad nauseum, and I still will continue to talk about the product, the brand that has changed my life and can change yours too. What's that product? It's Dubby. It's an all-natural energy supplement that you can take on the daily to help you get through those urges, those moments when you want to nap, then when you hit the cliff, or if you had a long night the night before and need to get through another crazy day of the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, whatever you got going on. Dubby is your energy drink. That's right. Not to mention, when you buy a container of Dubby, it actually equals out to almost $1 per drink. You can mix it in with whatever you want, whether that be a juice, whether that be a water, whether that be some type of other energy flavored drink, whatever you want, you can mix Dubby with it and it will do the trick for you. Guys, I don't understand what you're waiting on. Dubby takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is go on to the Dubby website and place your order. And at this time, when you do that, all you have to do is put in Cubs Central Pod 2024. That's right, Cubs Central Pod 2024. And you get 10% off on your Dubby order. That's right. Listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, Jitterless Energy. It's they have all different types of different flavors for you. Dubby has what you need. Be better with Dubby. On this channel, when we talk bad about somebody or we critique somebody, we have to critique them fairly. And what we saw from Ian Happ between the months of July and August really was not what we wanted to see out of our left fielder, out of our Golden Glove left fielder. He struggled, especially offensively. Defensively, Ian Happ has always been what he's been. He's been a stalwart over there left field. But we looked at somebody like Owen Casey and we saw what he could bring to the table potentially from an offensive side of things. And it made us look at Ian Happ while he was struggling and say, okay, it might be time to turn over the reins. Ian Happ took that personally. He took that personally, and he made it his mission to prove to Chicago Cubs fans that you don't need to move on from him just yet. Owen Casey has a bright future. He's a great kid. He is good at what he does. But Ian Happ is a really good left fielder. And on top of that, he has provided the Chicago Cubs with the same particular types of offense that he has just basically his career. Like, for pretty much when you look at the outskirts of Ian Happ's career, you look at him basically hitting the same type numbers, quality numbers each year. Now, the problem is that his numbers dip during certain months. Either he'll have an injury where he'll be out, or he'll just struggle. I think having Ian Happ hitting off leadoff caused him really to struggle. And I think that once you moved him out of that leadoff role, I think you begin to see him flourish a little bit more and find his way. But let's just take a look at Ian Happ's numbers. Ian Happ on today had a single, a double, and a home run. He's up now to 116 WRC plus with 21 home runs, a 13.2 walk rate, and a 22.1 strikeout percentage for the year. Like I said, he was very close in this game alone to hitting for the cycle. But like I said, Ian Happ has basically pretty much every year since, basically reaching, I guess, what he would call his peak. I don't know if you would say this is Ian Happ's peak, but or probably would say it's his peak. He's in his prime right now, age-wise, and he's basically throughout the duration of his prime has given you quality numbers on the offensive side and been a Gold Glover on the defensive side. I mean, he's been every single year that National League Gold Glove goes over there to him in left field. He makes at least every season 5 plays over there, at least 5 plays over at left field where he saves runs, where he gets outs, and he causes, a headache for whoever the hitter is. We've seen him bring balls back into the ballpark. We've seen him, run and slide and dive and catch and put his body in harm's way to prevent runs. So I just want to give Ian Happ his flowers. I don't know what his next contract looks like. I don't know. I don't even know if the Chicago Cubs offer him another contract. I think a lot of Ian Happ's future depends on what happens with Kyle Tucker this summer. Because if the Chicago Cubs sign Kyle Tucker to any type of deal, 9 times out of 10, they probably not going to offer Ian Happ another deal because they have Owen Casey, unless they plan to trade Owen Casey, which they've made every indication that they have no intentions on trading Owen Casey. And they're going to re-sign PCA. So some has to give here. We're getting log jammed at positions here, and they can't continue to keep Owen Casey in AAA. He can go back to AAA and play AAA again next year, but past that, Chicago Cubs gonna have to make some tough decisions here. But I wanted to give Ian Happ his flowers because I have been very critical of Ian Happ all season long. People call him Ian Crap. People were crapping on him for not being a good teammate, reportedly to Owen Casey, and to not even slapping his hand when Owen Casey did something good or not congratulating him, and things like that. But really, when you think about it, actually, you need to think about it. Ian Happ is the longest tenured Cub on this team now. I mean, longer than PCA, longer than Dansby, longer than Nico. I mean, he's been here. So in that sense, he is an elder statesman on this team. He is somebody that is supposed to hold it down in that clubhouse. And for what it's worth, I mean, he's done just that while providing you quality defense, Gold Glove defense. Exceptional defense every single day and quality at bats for the most part, except for when he starts getting in his head and swinging at stupid stuff, which does happen. But I mean, putting him in that second spot, I think he's flourishing, hidden behind Michael Busch or Nico, especially. And I think that his numbers are just showing you that, like I said, he is gonna hit his average, basically. And honestly, offensively, there's nothing more you can ask for outside of asking him to play out of his contract. You know, I mean, like I said, so Ian Happ has given you quality, and we should give him his flowers. Ian Happ is who Ian Happ is as a player. Offensively, he's going to give you, quality ABs. He's going to hit around 20 home runs, and he's going to give you elite defense. That's just who he is. Outside of going to a short porch ballpark, that's who Ian Happ is. And it's good. I mean, if you need help at left field, Ian Happ can do the trick, can do the job for you. Seriously. But if you're asking him to be the anchor of the offense, he can't be that. He'd be a good addition to guy, but he can't be that. So I just want to give him his flowers. Take a minute, like I said, and also let you know he is your pick to perform player of the game, Ian Happ. That's right. And yeah, man, like I said, he's just been that for the Chicago Cubs. Also, the Chicago Cubs magic number is now 7 to clinch a playoff spot. Like I said, it's down to 7 now. So Chicago Cubs inching ever so closely to getting that playoff spot with about 2.5 weeks left of baseball. And then last but not least, folks, Andrew Kittredge does look like he's going to end up being our closer. It's his second game in a row closing for the Chicago Cubs. He did obviously get the win, didn't give it up. I like my closers to be a little bit older, a little bit more experienced. I don't believe necessarily in the young guy closers because I don't think that necessarily, unless they come with really, really good accuracy, I think they're still trying to figure things out. So I'm not mad at all that Andrew Kittredge is closing for the Chicago Cubs. But Brad Keller is still a beast. And I would not mind Brad Keller closing for the Chicago Cubs either because dude has been lights out since the All-Star break. But let me know your thoughts. Do you want Andrew Kittredge or do you want Brad Keller to be your closer? That's all the time I have for today. Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Remember, you can join in on the conversation by a couple of ways. First and foremost, you can leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to message back. And then, of course, obviously, the other people watching will message back also. And then last but not least, you can also leave a voicemail at 217-816-5498, or you can write me at Chicago Cubs Baseball at gmail. Cubs Baseball 1992 at gmail.com. And then, of course, like I said, you can also just get in on the fun by leaving a 5-star review as well as a comment if you're watching this on Spotify or Apple. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.